My boyfriend let his friend improve my homemade tiramisu, then told me to thank her for it. I've been with my boyfriend about 8 months, and I'm still getting used to his friend group. They're finance guys, and I'm the quiet one who makes way less money. Lately, I've been obsessed with baking. I test recipes every weekend, and I finally nailed a tiramisu that feels like my thing. It takes 2 days. I use imported mascarpone, homemade ladyfingers, real espresso, and aged rum. It costs around $80, and I'm careful with every step, down to the cocoa dust. When my boyfriend tried it at home, he said it was better than a dessert he had in Italy. I was glowing. So when his friends planned their monthly dinner at his buddy Ryan's penthouse, my boyfriend said, "Bring your tiramisu. They'll love it." I was nervous, but I wanted to contribute something real. All weekend I worked. Friday night I baked ladyfingers until midnight. Saturday I whipped mascarpone and mixed espresso and rum. Sunday morning I layered it, dusted the top, and covered it. I carried it flat in my lap in the car so it wouldn't slide. When we arrived, Ryan opened the door with music blasting and everyone holding drinks. I smiled, said hi, and went straight to the kitchen. The fridge was packed with fancy wine and takeout containers. Emma, Ryan's girlfriend, was in there moving things around. I said, "Hey, I brought tiramisu. Please don't mess with it, okay?" She smiled and said, "Relax, I won't." I slid it onto a shelf and shut the door. Dinner was loud and full of work talk. They debated stocks, joked about bonuses, and barely asked me anything. I tried to keep up, but I mostly nodded and chewed, waiting for dessert like it was my moment. At one point, I walked past the kitchen and saw Emma at the counter with a bottle of vanilla syrup and a jar of gold flakes. I told myself it was for something else. After the main course, Emma popped up and said, "Dessert time!" She came back with a fancy chocolate cake from a bakery, and then my tiramisu, but my stomach dropped. The top looked glossy, like it was wet. On it were bright orange, edible flowers and shiny gold flakes. Everyone went, "Wow!" and Emma soaked it up. She started cutting big squares like she owned it. When she put a piece in front of me, the smell hit first. Sweet, fake vanilla, like coffee syrup from a cheap latte. I took a small bite, and it didn't taste like mine. The coffee and rum were buried under that sugary vanilla. I leaned in and asked quietly, "What did you add?" Emma lit up. "Oh, it looked plain, so I soaked the top with vanilla syrup, and I added flowers and gold leaf. Isn't it cute?" My throat went tight. She didn't ask me. She just poured syrup on something I spent days perfecting. I looked at my boyfriend, waiting for him to back me up. Instead, he took another bite and said loud, "Wow, Emma, this is amazing. You really elevated it." My face got hot. I opened my mouth to say, "It's not supposed to taste like that," but he gave me a quick warning look. People started praising her. "Great touch! So fancy! Way better like this." Emma smiled like she'd won a prize, and I sat there forcing a smile while my chest felt heavy. I pushed my fork around and couldn't swallow another bite. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. I stared at my face in the mirror and tried not to cry. It wasn't just dessert. It was her changing it without asking, and my boyfriend acting like she saved it. When I walked back out, my boyfriend pulled me close and whispered, "You should thank Emma. She made it presentable." That was it. Tears started falling before I could stop them. He looked shocked. "Babe, what's wrong?" I wiped my cheeks and said, "She ruined it. I worked all weekend and you're praising her like I needed fixing." He frowned and said, "You're being dramatic. She was just helping." I said, "Helping would be asking first." He shrugged like it didn't matter. Emma noticed and walked over with a sweet smile. "Everything okay?" she asked. I grabbed my purse and said, "I'm going home." My boyfriend followed me to the elevator, annoyed. "Seriously? Over a dessert? Don't make this a thing." The doors opened and I stepped in. He reached for my hand and I pulled back. I looked at him and said, "If you think this is just about dessert, you don't know me at all." The doors closed. As soon as I got home, he started texting, but I didn't reply. The next day, Emma messaged me, "Sorry if I upset you," and then, "Can you send me your tiramisu recipe?" Everyone loved it. My hands shook. I stared at the screen and blocked her number. Now they're saying I overreacted by leaving. Was I really wrong?